Africa's biggest conversation about the future of radio is happening in Lagos.
Here we go.
On Saturday, February 28th, 2026, at the Lagos Continental Hotel, the Radio Masterclass will host broadcasters, podcasters, journalists, creators, and media innovators from across the continent for Radio Next 2026. This year's theme, From FM to AI, Future-Proofing Radio Journalism in Africa, explores how technology, creativity, and storytelling are reshaping the way we speak, listen, and connect. Expect powerful keynote sessions, practical workshops, expert panels, fireside chats, and networking with the brightest minds shaping African audio. Whether you're an established professional or an emerging voice, Radio Next is where the next chapter of your journey begins. The conference kicks off at 8 a.m. sharp, so come early, learn, connect, and be inspired. Tickets and registration are now open at www.radionextafrica.com. Radio Next 2026, shaping the sound of Africa's future.
Today, we're sitting down with a woman whose voice has shaped Rwanda's airwaves and whose leadership is now redefining its media landscape. Aissa Cyiza is the CEO of Royal FM and one of the youngest women to step into such a significant leadership position in Rwandan broadcasting. Aissa's journey is one of courage, consistency, and quiet reinvention. From the girl who fell in love with radio to the woman leading one of the country's most recognizable stations, her story reminds us that growth is not always loud. Sometimes it's the small steps, the intentional decisions, and the willingness to outgrow who you were yesterday. In this episode, we talk about what it really takes for African women to rise in media, the lessons Aissa has learned on and off the mic, and how she navigated the transition from presenter to leader and her vision for the future of Rwandan media. We also explore the realities behind the headlines, the opportunities, the pressure, the evolution of the industry, and what her leadership means for the next generation of women coming behind her. If you're building a career, dreaming of a bigger table, or simply looking for a story that will remind you that your next level is possible, this is an episode you don't want to miss. My name is Fola Folayo, and this is Minding Your Business Africa. I think I first saw your picture when it was announced that you were taking over as CEO of Royal FM. And I was like, okay, because I have been in the radio industry and I was talking to a colleague yesterday that the percentage of women in radio leadership is very low.
Exactly.
And it's not just a West African or even a Nigerian thing. When I came to East Africa, I realized that, yes, we do have very thriving radio stations, but how many women in those radio stations are in critical leadership? So when I saw the announcement, I was like, yes, we have a woman,
exactly.
In charge. And I would say that listening to your station, it's an incredible experience. I think you're doing an amazing job.
Thank you.
So I want to start from the beginning. Have you always wanted to be in the media, and did you start with radio, or you were somewhere else and then, you came to radio? So how did your journey start?
Oh my God. When I was young, I didn't even just dream like I'm going to be a journalist. I was loving to be a politician. Just being in a parliament, being in government positions, things like that. Because back then, our parents used to listen to only radio that was there. Was Radio Rwanda. And then you have no other choice. You have to listen to it. And they were talking about government things. So by listening all the political things, I was like, you know what? I just want to be someone in government, somewhere or in parliament. But it changed when I was in high school because I went in one of the excellent school here in Kigali, in Rwanda. And then it's called Groupe Scolaire Saint-Joseph. It's a francophone one. But with our time, it was becoming Anglophone because of the government change and everything. But for me, I studied languages. English, French, and Kinyarwanda, as well as Kiswahili.
Wow.
Even if I'm not that good in it,
You
all of them.
multilingual. Can you imagine?
Yes, I can just have some touch. When it comes French, I know it, understand it, but when it comes to speak, because I use English that much, it's just dying. But I'm just waking up. I'm just trying to wake it up. So, and when it comes to Kiswahili, it's a little bit, but Kinyarwanda is my mother language.
That's your mother tongue.
Yeah, and then when I was at school, there was a media club. So I was like, yes, as someone who is just in languages and literature, why can't I just join the club? But I joined like, okay, let me see what they're doing, because I was just in a senior Fola. And then I was like, okay, I see people, they have a radio station that is running around the school and everything. Presenters, they go there. Students used to ask for the request for songs and everything. So one day they gave me a microphone. I remember it was a gospel show. And then I was not that much in gospel, but I was preaching. And everyone was like, Aissa, you have a good voice. You can just be a good presenter. You can just be a good journalist. So starting from there, then I was like, you know what, this is something maybe I can do. It's something that I can just venture when I finish my school. So when it comes to go to uni, I asked for journalism and communication, but unfortunately they didn't give it to me. They gave me English and literature, but I was like, it's okay. Let me just try to see if I can just find a radio station that I can just volunteer. I can go there, do some tests and everything. Maybe I will get the chance. So I went for one of the best radio station at the time. And then I asked, I am not a student. I am just someone who loves radio. Can I just try my best? I can just volunteer for free. Wow. And then they said, it's okay. You come and record something. So when they program and listen to my voice, was like, I want this girl. So it just started like that.
This is why, this is me being biased, clearly, but it's not even a bias. I mean, this is, I think this is why I'm drawn to you. You know why? Because your story sounds like mine. Yes. Coming out from school, being passionate about radio, offering to be a volunteer. That was exactly how I got into, radio as well. And I think it's also a beautiful thing that we need to have more when organizations give opportunity to young people.
Yeah, exactly.
Because imagine if they didn't give you that opportunity.
Yeah, I wouldn't be who I am today.
Wow, that's incredible. So now you are on radio, you are volunteering. What was the experience like?
The very first time it was scary, because that was my very first time I'm going to talk on the radio, where a lot of people, audience around the country, they're listening. I was like, oh my God, I don't think I'm going to make it. But with time, I just say because I did study journalism and communication, I didn't know how to edit, to produce, and so I have to learn from scratch. Wow. So I started just being friends with my colleagues. How do you do news? I sit in the newsroom. They show me. We go to the field. We did this and this. This is our report. The next day I go with them. Another time I sit with the presenters. I just listen to them. Then it comes like that. I didn't just feel like, to block myself. I was just ready to learn everything about radio.
You soaked up knowledge.
Exactly. I was like, I want to be a reporter. I want to be a presenter. I just want to be called a journalist. Wow. So by given even an opportunity by my chief at the time, the chief editor was just believing in me, because this young lady, she wants to work. She wants to be everywhere. So
you can't help it when you see someone who is that passionate.
Exactly.
Something would trigger in you to want to assist that person. Did you face any challenges? I mean, it must have been a little different because you were like young and a girl. Were there any unique challenges?
I was that fearless girl, because I always just want to. Exactly. I was like, wherever you want me to go, I will go there. Wow. So if you want me to go even to the office of the president at the time, I just even went there, and then I did the what? I don't know. It was scary, but I went there, but I was challenged with how do you report from the office of the president? How do you ask even questions? Am I going to ask the president a question? So it was just like that. I can't just, at the time, I can't call them challenges, but because I was still learning. Yeah. I was just like, it's like, let me give it myself. Feel like I want to learn. Let me learn. At the time, there wasn't so many challenges. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I love your story. I love that, that passion that brought you in. And I think that's the passion that is still keeping you in there. Speaking about wanting to be a politician, and now, well, you're not exactly a politician, but you are someone in senior management. You're making decisions. People's careers and lives and destinies are in your hands. What is it like being a boss now? Yes. What's the journey to leadership like for you? How do you see yourself now as someone who has to make decisions that affect other people?
Yeah, sometimes you can just sit and feel like, what, all the things are just on my head. And then I have just believed like I have to make the things happen. I think from the time I was appointed, it was my very first time in management, because I used to be a presenter, I used to be a news editor. I was the person who would the things that I was just having in my head was news, was programs and everything, our preps of the content and everything.
Exactly, because that's all you care about.
Exactly. So when it comes to management, it's a different way. Sometimes you have to be business-wise, you have to be leadership skilled, you have to be like, it's a lot on your plate. But I didn't even get the chance to in my university studies, I just studied diplomacy, international relations, and we studied leadership, we studied communication and everything. I was like, you know what, let me go back to my books. And
let me start to read.
Yeah, and then start to read again. What is leadership? What is the characteristics of a good leader? What is management? What should a manager have? I was like, it was so challenging at the first, but every day, like, I learn every day. Now it has been 3 months, but I think I'm just putting things on the right direction, I think. So I'm trying my best.
People say that when you're a leader, I don't know how it is, because cultural differences and stuff. But I've heard all sorts. I've read articles, I've heard opinions where people say, oh, when you have a woman in leadership, a woman in leadership means, it will be hard to work with her, she'll be temperamental, so there's all those misogynistic or sexist ideas people have about women in leadership. So I guess my question to you is, when you came into leadership, because before you became CEO, you've been a senior, did you ever feel like people are going to look at you differently or treat you differently or expect a certain kind of treatment from you just because you're a woman?
Yeah, I don't think so, because maybe I have that even boyish character.
Yeah.
And I am that person who is too social somehow. I don't call it too social, but I am somehow.
You're a people person.
Exactly. I am a people person. And everyone was like, maybe Aissa is going to change something. They were expecting a lot.
Did you change?
Because, no, I didn't. For me, myself, I didn't, but the radio changed. Because I have been on radio for long, I knew really what I wanted. But people were expecting me just to that heat change, But for me, myself, I didn't change it. You were looking at me. I am that person who wear most of the time streetwear. Everywhere I go. I am the person who can take the bus. I am the person who can take a motor at any time. I am the person who can just do anything. You can find me in a very fancy bar, and then the next day I'm in that local bar down there. So myself, I didn't change. And I feel like people who knew me, they know that I didn't change. They are just approaching me the way they used to approach me every time if they have something to pitch. As I'm in management, they come to me easily. They text me on WhatsApp. They text me on email, they email me and everything. I'm still Aissa, even if the responsibilities changed, but me, I still me. And sometimes people, they can just feel like, you know what, I can't lie, maybe there's some people who can fear. So like, it's a woman, we pay attention on everything. That's the character that we have, or women. Yes, if you are not giving me what I'm really looking for, oh my God, I am not into it.
Okay.
But if you feel like, you know what, yes, I know Aissa, but you have to know that I am the person who love just like right direction, like when we're in something together, we're in that together. So I think it's that.
I like that. I like that you're still very much yourself, because I think that there's people expect you to change when you rise up to a certain position.
People, they do change when they have been raised in the positions. They do change. Yes. We have those friends. We have those family members. They have changed.
But sometimes I think it's the responsibility that changes you. Because now the things you used to care about, now you have to care about extra. Now you have to worry about making payroll. Now you have to solve other people's problems. Before, you only had to worry about yourself. Now you're worrying about so many other people.
Exactly.
So maybe you change, not because you want to, but because,
But it goes with personality, because most of the time, after having those responsibility is the way you walk in them, the personality also just play a big role in that. Because if I want to be a boss, because, that was the very first time that people called me boss. I was like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
And then I told them, please, I'm not boss. Just call me Aissa. Because you used to call me Aissa here. So call me boss.
Call me Aissa.
It's so scary, But I was like, you know what? I will navigate this, but I will always just be me as well. Yeah. Some people, you can just meet them on the street because they have been raised in position. And when you wave, they can't even wave back. So that's why I always just say like the personality, the person, maybe the person was like that before, but
and now that they're in a position, now they can
wasn't in the position to act themselves.
Now the real self is coming out.
The real self is coming out. So for me, I was like, you know what? I said, you are the right person and you stay the person. That means whatever. Now I am a CEO of Royal FM. I can just wake up in the morning and I'm minister. You will find me the same way. Yeah. So I think my responsibilities are there, and you always just think about how you're going to make the people's life better, the radio station better, the company that you have better. But you have to be yourself as well, because you still have to live.
That's true. Yeah. You have to be yourself. And now you mentioned the other time how that you've been on radio for a while. You know what you wanted, or you know what you want, and you had a vision. So I want to talk about that vision. Now it's been 3 months of your leadership at Royal FM as CEO. What's your vision? What do you want to see this radio station become? Maybe in the next 5 years, in terms of visibility, brand awareness, in terms of content, in terms of the quality of programming and journalism. What's your vision?
I do think we always just have to dream big. Yeah. I always just feel like Royal FM should be that one international radio station. Okay. And I think it's going to take time, but it's step by step. You get there as long as you have the right team. And because I believe that you can't do things alone. You must have a good team to do so, because when you believe in your team and they believe in your vision, you go together in that. So I do believe that in maybe 5 years to come, Royal FM will be the biggest radio station ever. Not only this place that you are seeing, maybe having branches, maybe in other provinces and everywhere, having reporters in every district, because we already just want to make radio station like, you have a niche, We feel like, yes, it's urban and corporate radio station, but there are corporate people everywhere. So I want to see all those corporate people listening to Royal FM. Okay. I want to see old students from uni listening to Royal FM, because it's one of the youngest radio station for when it comes to content and everything. When it comes to we do evaluate in maybe from 18 to 45. Okay. Like our own audience.
That's the demographic of your audience.
Exactly. And when you look within demographics, you see that's a lot of people that Rwanda have on East Africa and Africa in general, because most of the people in Africa, we are young. It's a young generation. And then I was like, you know what? I believe this radio station is going to be also a radio that gives voice to everyone as well. When it comes to content creators, we have now so many projects for content creators, for people who are in creative worlds as well. But we are looking also for business, we can survive. with our business. So we are targeting also big market. As we are growing big, we need also the market to be big as well.
I mean, I like that you're mentioning markets, because if there's one thing I do know, I mean, I've spoken to quite a lot of people in the media industry, and I've been in the industry myself, is that markets are shrinking.
Exactly.
Now it's becoming more and more difficult for media organizations to make money, especially when you're depending on only adverts, you know. So a lot of media organizations are looking into diversified ways of generating income. What's your experience with that at Royal FM? Are you thinking of exploring other ways of making income, or are you satisfied with the way things are, you know, financially for you? I mean, I don't know if you guys are rich enough to just depend on your adverts.
Every time if someone started a business, just want he wants profit, you know.
Definitely.
He wants a return on investment that he made or she made. So as Royal FM, we have been in this industry when mainstream was a thing. Then you were making money. Royal FM was just one of the radio stations that were making money at the time. But the world changed after COVID. Everything changed because people, they have seen like, we can create content. We can just do social media boost like that. So, but the good thing, the management which was there in place, they thought about it. It's like, you know what, mainstream traditional radio station is dying. What can we do? Because we still want to be on the market. We are not looking Low FM closing down. You know, so they invested in a digital facility. Because now Royal FM is one of the radio station. It's the first one in East Africa to have the full IP radio station where everything is streamed online, digital and everything, from transmitter to the microphone that presenters are sitting in. It's all digital. So they were like, you know what? We have also to have a hub for content creators, podcasts and everything. So maybe someone cannot be able to build your own studio at home, but you can maybe have 50,000 to come and you rent your one place here. You come, you do your content and then you go. So we were like, you know what, we have to explore in all those things so that we can just not be left behind as crying like we are dying. Social media is taking over, digital things are taking over. We were like, you know what, we have to go where we want our radio station to be in maybe 20 years to come. That may be going to be full digital. AI is taking over. Maybe it's going to be like, you know what, we are no longer needing presenters, but Royal FM as a brand will be there.
I mean, when you say that, when you mention AI presenters, some radio stations, you know, on the continent are already exploring that idea. I don't know how I feel about that, because I still feel like radio needs that human connection. Because you can have an AI DJ, you can have an AI presenter, but there's something personal about being a broadcaster on radio. You know, that connection you have, that little laugh, that little, you know, cultural context, nuance that a real human being would bring to a conversation. I don't think AI can do that.
It can't.
So
it can't at all.
I think we're still going to need human presenters. Talking about human presenters, you mentioned that when you were young, someone gave you an opportunity and allowed you to come in. That I see as talent development. So from your perspective, what do you think that Royal FM is doing, you know, to develop younger talent? Because you do have a healthy balance of young and not so young audience. There's something about, you know, a radio station that just connects to their audience in a very personal way. So are you reaching out to young people? Are you encouraging them and developing their talent? What are you doing?
You know, as you see me, I am the oldest person here.
You're the oldest.
You know, no like exactly. I do believe in young people because someone believed me when I was 22 years old. And then I was like, you know what? Those people are so talented and they are creative as well in so many ways. So I was like, yes, our radio station is targeting people of 18 up to 45. So let's mix, you know, we can just have that hard talking in the morning, particularly in the morning where parents are taking kids to school. But also we have young generation. We have people in university, in the secondary school, people at home as well. So who are just like 18 up to 27, where they have their own conversation. They have their own talkings, you know. For me, I can just be sitting with them and be like, when they say something, be like, what? You know, because I'm over that age. So, and I believe, and I do remember when I was that age, I was seeing people with 35. I was like, these wachichuru.
You were seeing them as old people.
You know, for me, I remember I was just in a bar, when we go to the bar, and then you see those 35, 40 women come dancing. We were like, what are they doing here? They should be home with their babies, you know?
Oh my word.
That was the mindset at the time. So maybe now, even
now you are that person that the younger ones are looking at.
I am that auntie, you know. So I do believe, like, they do, if you give them space, they do wonders, I'm telling you. So that's why I was like, you know what, our radio, it has to have that variety. So we have the millennials, we have the X people, we have also the Gen Z.
If there's one thing I've experienced with radio stations, having worked in a couple over the years, a lot of radio organizations do not invest in training for their broadcasters, because they just assume that, well, now you're here, you know, the focus is on you delivering, doing your job, making money, and let's keep the lights on and the generators working, the transmitter on, you know. But personal development, professional development for radio broadcasters, a lot of times you have to be the one to invest in yourself. I mean, I remember when I worked on radio in Nigeria, it was the only opportunity we had for professional development was when, you know, the BBC Media Action and this VOA training people would come to the station, and they will have some sort of a barter arrangement with the management, and they'll be like, oh, okay, so we have 1 day with BBC, or highest 3 days, and they are gone. So now, if you want to get better, if you want to stay updated with industry trends and make progress professionally for yourself, you have to be the one to apply for trainings, pay for trainings, travel for trainings, with your organization not paying 1 cent to help you do that. Has that been your experience? And if it is, what are you doing now that you are in a position to do something? What are you doing about it?
I know I am in the position to change that, because it happened to us. We were just investing ourselves in everything, in every workshop, in every training that you were looking for. You were just, most of the time, you were the one doing it, applying for yourself, do everything for yourself, accommodation and everything. And then it's something that I should, and I'm aiming to change, because I am looking for partners, just to partner to give some trainings to my staff, not only presenters, but also staffs. Because you can be the HR in a radio station, but you don't know how to handle talents.
Hey, say something.
So you should have to know how. You know, it's a different environment, because when you are dealing with talents, it requires a lot. We need to come to mentally stable, you know, that mindset, you know, those talents, they're already just coming up. They create every day. The way they wake up in the morning is totally different.
You cannot do HR for a creative person like you would do HR for a finance or
person.
A paper person.
Exactly. So I am investing in looking for partners who can just help me also to train my people here, my team. But we also, for us, we have even, I may call it a chance, because we work with Mount Kigali University. And most of the students, they have to come here for internship and everything. We know, we nurture them, we see the talent, we nurture them as they are looking to go to the field. Most of the young journalists now on the field, they come from Mount Kigali University. So we work together as well on that. If there is something that we want our team to learn also, we go with them, you do this research, and then they come also with the findings. Be like, you know what, your radio station is missing this and this and this. And then we know where we can just put so many efforts. So I think it's something that I can just not sleep like, it's something, you know what, as long as I get my money, as long as you do mentions and everything, no, really, I'm just looking to always just, knowledge. You have to put on something every
I like
day.
that. I mean, I like the fact that you're working with a university, because honestly, I feel like there's been a disconnect, between media organizations and journalism or communication departments of universities. I've always believed in having a pipeline, from schools to the workforce, because you find out that, you go to school, you study mass communication or you study journalism. Apart from the few months of internship that you have, you don't really have work experience.
Exactly.
The kind of work experience that you need to be able to, thrive in the workforce when you do graduate. So you realize that some people would graduate and then come into that space, and you have to start learning from the beginning. So if you're able to have that direct pipeline from the universities, you can start to influence, you can start to change mindsets. They already know what they're coming to do by the time they graduate. Exactly. So I think that's a beautiful thing, which brings me to the general, let me say, I want to know your general perspective about the Rwandan media industry. So when I came into Rwanda, I thought that, okay, I was going to come in and just fix myself somewhere and make myself useful, But of course, I understand that there are language differences. I'm from an Anglophone country. I speak only English and my local dialect. So coming into an East African country where the language is completely different was a learning curve for me. So I had to, start to learn from the beginning, understand the people, understand the culture, and then get to learn the industry all over again. And it's been a very beautiful experience, I must tell you. I've seen that things are done a little bit differently, but then again, I've also observed certain things that in the wider conversation, if we're looking at journalism, globally and even continent-wise, I think that there's some sort of, I think Rwandan journalists or the media industry is a little bit conservative, So sometimes I was at a global journalism conference recently, and, there were journalists from everywhere and all of that. And I met one person from Rwanda who was a freelance journalist. And I was like, it's only two of us from... It's only two of us from our country here. What's going on? Where are our colleagues from Rwanda? So I'm curious what your take is. Why are journalists from Rwanda not very present in global conversations when it comes to the industry? What's happening?
I do think is that culture of Rwandans. That's so, I think, resolved somehow. But also, the way when we grow up, being a journalist was like, you're so talkative, because Rwandans, they're not talkative that much. So they can just talk behind the scene, but when it comes to
public speaking,
so they're not good. And when you look our education system, they didn't even train us to do so. Some people who are doing it like I do, they feel like you're not from Rwanda. And I say, most of the people that I meet, they always just say, have you born in Kigali? Have you born in Rwanda? And I say, yes, I did. I even just studied in Rwanda from my primary school, high school, university, and everything. But they believe because I go out there, I speak my mind and everything. They feel like you are not Rwandan,
because you're not laid back, you're not shy.
So that also is something that is blocking our journalism, here, our industry. Because when it comes to that, the language as well. Because by speaking internationally, you have to speak English. You have French, maybe, or maybe Kiswahili, because Kiswahili is there also when it comes to East Africa. But, when it comes to the education, the system that we have, we used to be Francophone before, and then we switch like that. not the teacher were ready, not the student as well. For me, I get the chance to continue in the languages, but imagine if I was in another different field, maybe the story would be different.
Yeah.
So, and then that also, it's a barrier, the language as well. Because even when it comes to when the media were growing at the time, all the media stations were speaking Kinyarwanda. The thing of having one language that you listen to from north to south, from east to west, it's a very big challenge as well. We do believe that, yes, I speak and they listen. And sometimes in so many big countries, you may find like people in the north, they have their own dialect. And they don't listen to the south. So they have to have one common language
that speak, everybody can
understand, which is maybe English, which is maybe French. For Rwandans, they do speak one language. We listen to, if I am from Kigali, I go to Musanze, they listen to me. I go to Rusizi, they listen to me. I go to Nyagatare, they listen to me.
So there was no need to
learn how to speak in another language. And that's why when it comes to trainings as well, the way we say, we have been trained to be presenters in Kinyarwanda. For now, this is what we are changing, because for our young talents that are coming here, we are training them to be journalists in all languages, in French, in English, in Kiswahili if you want. What language do you really feel that you can just broadcast in? And then we train you in that language. So for us, we were like, you know what, working on radio in Kinyarwanda, debates in Kinyarwanda, everything in Kinyarwanda. So that was some things. It's a barrier. That's where you can't find so good journalists that we have here. There's so few who can just stand and speak publicly, who can just do the story. And then you feel like, you know what? This story, you come just and speak about what the investigation that you did, and tell us more, and see them on the global stage, When it comes to global awards of journalism and everything, you don't find Rwandan stories because they're in Kinyarwanda. Sometimes you can translate.
But it can be translated.
Exactly. But sometimes, which are those stories? Also, you question. Because of having that reserved society, and then if you are just about to say something, be like, how does my community going to react on this? And then you feel like, you know what, let me go with what I have. So we don't want to open that much so that you can just be out there. I think it's the society also that is just put in place the barriers. The culture, the society, the education.
But then everything. Journalism requires that you speak up. The whole point of journalism is speaking up. And I feel like Rwanda, if there's one thing I've learned, from my time here and working here, is Rwanda has amazing stories that deserves to be told. We have amazing environmental conservation stories. There's stories in healthcare delivery. There's a great gender equality story and women empowerment story. There's so many angles, to be, that the stories can be told. And I know that these stories are out there. I know the journalists here are doing the very best, but I feel like it needs to be heard on a wider stage. And if we're looking at, journalism in Africa, African journalists are, we're at a very, very critical point right now, because if we are not telling our stories, other people will tell it for us.
Exactly.
And they would not say it in the way that...
Exactly. In the way it is.
You understand? So I believe strongly that nobody can tell your story more than you can. So if you're not there, other people will control your narrative.
Exactly. So that's what I say, like, just come from education, Most of, if you see Francophone schools, they don't encourage debates. And
real?
Most of the school that we went in, people, I was just having the background of Anglophone and everything. And then I went to Francophone schools. But in Francophone, when you speak like that, it's like a taboo. How? If you are a woman, if you are a girl, be like, okay, girl, comment tu osais dire ça? It's just in the French. How can you even just talk about that, in public,
Wow.
And then if you're a young girl, I feel like, oh my God, what did I say? I was just, maybe we were debating about periods and they said like, you know what, this and this and this. And then they'll be like, how dare you
say
something like that? So it just started from young. When we were young, it wasn't there. We weren't speaking our mind. Sometimes if you try to speak in Rwanda, they say like you're so talkative, you're not respecting yourself, and then when we became journalists, there was no training about that.
Yeah.
I think
so there was no training to overcome that.
Exactly. I think most of the good journalists that we have, they did how can I call it? They did nurture themselves. They put themselves in the shoes like, I want to be good. I want to be the best. They invest to go to Uganda. They go to Kenya. They go to, some of them, they have been to BBC and everywhere looking for knowledge and everything. They invested in themselves to be better. So there was no, there is no center. What I can just call like, before I go to the microphone, before I go to speak to people, I have to start from here. Not from university, because the university, all they give is theories, because they don't have radios, they don't have TVs. They give all the knowledge in theory. And then there would be a center where you go and you meet the seniors and then teach you how to do things, mentor you. It was nowhere to find. Sometimes if you look to those countries where they have those good journalists, not only the languages that we are speaking now, even in Kenya, Rwanda, you can't find them, just speak their minds, We have, I have 4 colleagues of mine, we are 4 of us, and we have a TV show that we air on YouTube. It's called Aissa.
Okay.
For we speak, even the taboos and everything, we break everything.
Wow.
But people be like, those women, oh my God, do they have husbands? Do they have that? They're feminists. Because we have just talked about women empowerment and everything. They're feminists. When they say feminists, don't take it in a positive way.
Oh, they
it's
use
a negative
feminist as a derogatory word.
Exactly.
Incredible.
And then be like, they're feminists. That's why they dare speaking these things and that. We are those women. Everywhere they go, those women. You go somewhere, you meet like with someone, feel like, I think I know you. My wife used to, she likes your TV show. But you have changed her. Oh, say, in a good way, in a bad way. I don't know.
No. You know what?
So that's the thing that we maybe in the future we have to invest in, having the centers that nurture young people to be the best, not only in a countrywide, but globally.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
I think it's something that we have to put our effort. Maybe we didn't get the chance when we were young, but we have young people now. We have to teach them how to be the best journalists, to have the spirit of competition, to have the spirit of doing good things. I think it's something that maybe one day we will say like the best journalists of the year is a Rwandan journalist, when it comes to the good, the best awards that we know all over the world. So I think it's something that we have to invest in. And I think Royal FM, we are looking to have a center where before you go on the microphone, before you go to talk to people, you have been nurtured there.
I love that, honestly, because I feel like it's the way forward. It's the only way forward. Capacity building, professional development, not only for the sake of Royal FM to be an amazing radio station, but for the entire society, for the country, really, for the entire country, because if Rwandan journalists are out there taking center stage, telling their own stories, putting out their own narratives, it will mean a lot.
It will, I think.
It will mean a whole lot. It would be... It will really influence the narrative out there.
Some people out there, they may feel like you're censored, your government censor you. You can't say a thing.
So how do you prove that you are not censored if you are not out there?
If you are not speaking up, if you are not just saying a thing, be like you are censored. And then people who want to say so, they will say so because you didn't even just say back. a thing.
Yes.
So I think it's something that we have to break anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, with young people, with young generation, because I do believe in them so much. For us, it's hard because so many journalists, they're looking for a living. They feel like, what, as long as I have something on my plate, my kids are in good school, that's what matter. But for the young ones to be passionate about doing good things, this is what we have to build so that they can just be better.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. So, what do you, in the next, let's say in the next 10 years, you look at Royal FM. I know you've told me, you want to do all of these amazing things. Can you give me 5 things that would be off the top of your list that you want to achieve?
Okay. So, first, I have said before, I want Royal FM to be among the best radio station worldwide. Radio are so many, but as long as you have been out there, that means like you are out there in the world. And also I want it to be a hub where people, they come feel like when they are passionate about media, journalism and everything, they will be trained.
Good.
And then I want also Royal FM to be that radio where the good environment that everyone wants to work from, be like, if you are dreaming being a journalist, be like, I want to work on Royal FM. Because when we were young, we were like when I started my career, I was like, I want to work on BBC. Because that was the best radio that we were looking for. All Voice of America, all CNN, all Sky Sports, things like that. But I want also young people, when they were in school, be like, I believe I will work on Royal FM because it's a good environment. And also I want a Royal FM to be the radio that give information, really. No fake news, no fake things, like professionally, being that radio people trust, people believe. If I listen something to Royal FM, that's true.
That's the truth. Yeah. And I think that's the core of journalism. After all we do is to make sure that we build credibility and we build audience trust.
Exactly.
Because I don't know what you feel, but these days there's a decrease in trust between media organizations and the audience, and some people will trace the beginning of this to COVID.
Trends.
Yeah, people looking for trends.
And even those radio stations are looking for trends,
which brings us all back to what we've been saying, because when a media organization is focused on making money, you're focused on engagement.
That's the problem.
So you are just putting things out there for clicks. You're putting things out there so you can engage, you can get that, that number, that virality.
Because people in
journalism
business, they're coming asking for numbers. That's the problem now.
Right?
Exactly. You go somewhere to pitch. You go somewhere to say like we can do business together. But the first thing they ask you,
how many listeners?
Exactly. Can we have a look at your numbers? So, yes, they're not looking like you are trustworthy radio station. Oh, what? No, numbers.
But you see,
many radio station, many TVs, they're looking for numbers.
I mean, numbers are important, but beyond the numbers, I always look at the quality of engagement and the quality of the people that are giving you these numbers.
Exactly.
Because what if you have 100,000 listeners, and even if, and out of that 100,000, you have 80,000 of them that don't even care to buy anything that you're selling.
Exactly.
Or what's the point?
That's the point.
But if you have 20,000 people that you can trust, 20,000 people that believe in you, that if you tell them this is a good product or this is a good service, they would engage.
Exactly.
Is that not more important?
That's so important. That's what we are looking for. Yeah.
Hi. Anyway, it's been an interesting conversation, but before I let you go, let's talk about you personally. I know, I mean, you're very young, you're trendy, So tell me about being a boss of young people and also having to maintain a level of professionalism without being called bossy. Because I know that as women, we have that reputation. When we get into that position, a lot of times people expect that you're going to be, sometimes they expect you, because you're a woman, you should be nice and be like an auntie and be like a mom. But then you are not. You're very professional. You stick to the, and they're like, oh, what is wrong with her? Why is she not friendly? But if it's a man, they're not going to ask the man to be friendly.
Exactly.
So how do you navigate that? Especially when you're now in a place where there are people that you have been working with who were your colleagues. Now you are their boss.
It's tricky.
Yeah.
But I have that personality. People who work with me, they know I always just want things to be done.
Yeah.
Like, we can joke, we can hang out in the bar, but the very first morning I will ask you if you have done what you have done, what you have to do.
Wait, so you hang out with me at night in the bar, and in the morning you ask me, have I done the assignment?
Boss,
I was with you last night.
And I ask you, I am the person who doesn't know how to ask. Like, I am not harsh. If I can just ask you your responsibility, even if you did it wrong, but I ask you in a good way.
Yeah.
So like, why didn't you do that?
Yeah.
Why was the challenge? Why didn't you meet a problem and you didn't tell me? If maybe that was a way to help. So that's the thing that you shouldn't have tell me. So I am the person who hang around with them, but they know that I always just want things to be done.
You're serious business.
Yeah. When it comes to work, I'm that serious. I'm not your auntie. I'm not your mama. I am your friend. Yes, I'm your colleague. I always just tell, even I can just make friends from work, but in the very first place, you are my colleague. You have to do what you have to do. And I have to do what I have to do. So, and then if we are out there in the bar, yes, let's chill. Cheers. But when it comes to work, you do what you're supposed to do. I do what I'm supposed to do. If I'm not seeing your report, you will tell me why I didn't see your report.
Oh.
If you are sick, even if we hang out together last night, I am not the person you are going to tell that I'm sick. There is a protocol. You have to follow the protocol. There is an HR, there is your PD, programs director. There is I'll be the last one to know why you didn't show up at work, even if we are friends. So I do separate work and friendship.
I love that.
Yeah.
So finally, what's your advice for other women in leadership positions, not just in the media industry, but generally? What would be your one word of advice?
Don't be bossy. Because if you want to, I always just remind people, after all, we are human. Yeah. After all, we are neighbors. After all, we are friends out there. We have another life to live after work. So I do believe that you can just have your KPIs. You can trust your people. You can follow. And you can even just give a vision and people will follow. Being bossy to them will not take you anywhere, I'm telling you. That's what I have been realized. But also focus and make decision where you have to make decision. Either is bad or good, you have to make it. Don't fear that you are a woman. Oh, if I did this, what people are going to say? Hey, women, we do have that thing. Yeah. They're going to talk about this and this. No. If it's a decision to make it. You make it. Yeah, so I think it's something that we have to learn as women because, we because of being everywhere, we are multitask, we can do many things at the same time. Sometimes we lose the focus. So I think if you have a company that you are leading, you have to focus on that. Because sometimes, you mix with home, husband, wife, children, things like that.
So many distractions.
For me, what I do, if I am here, I know you can't escape that. But when I'm here, I'm focusing on what I'm doing here. When I'm home.
Yeah.
I focus on what I do home. When I'm with my friends, I focus on that. When I'm in social things, I'm just in social. You would never ask me something about work when I'm just decided this is time to go and socialize with my people. But if I'm at work, I do the right things. I even just responsibilize. I give responsibility to other people.
You delegate.
Some people, for us, we feel like, I can do things at the same time. But you have your people there, your team. And sometimes you want to do even the things that they're doing. For women, we always just have the thing, but it's really bad and it can destroy people. They can just see you crazy while nothing is done.
Because you're not delegating.
You are not delegating.
You're
trying to do everything by yourself. Please delegate your people. Yeah. But all you should do is following up.
Follow up. Amazing.
Yeah.
Aissa, thank you.
Thank you too.
This has been a very enlightening conversation. I appreciate you sitting down on Minding Your Business Africa.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You've been listening to the Minding Your Business Africa podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and rate us on your streaming platforms. Minding Your Business Africa is produced by Africa Talks Network. Our executive producers are Fola and Nelly Kalu. Royalty-free music provided by Melody Loops. Mixing and mastering by Fola.